Ooh, what? Porcupine's bread? Porcupines have always fascinated my son with their cute, spiky appearance. Every time we visit the zoo, his eyes light up when he sees one, pointing out their quills and how funny they look. Inspired by my son's love for porcupines and his obsession with anything chocolate, I decided to create something extra special, a porcupine-shaped bread with chocolate spikes. Let me show you how I transformed this spiky idea into a soft, delicious, and chocolatey sourdough bread. Let's combine our dry ingredients. Combine our 500 grams of bread flour, which is content of 11 to 13% of high protein flour. Add in 40 grams of milk powder. Incorporating milk powder into the recipe ensures that the bread is not only flavorful and visually appealing, but also has a delightful texture and longer shelf life. And third, dry ingredients is instant dry yeast. We use around 6 grams of instant yeast. Using discard and instant yeast together, enhance bread by combining the tangy flavor of sourdough discard with the reliable rise of instant yeast. It also reduces waste by utilizing our sourdough discard rather than throw away, and speeds up the fermentation process by using the instant yeast. In a clean bowl, let's mix 60 grams of Greek plain yogurt without any flavoring. Add in 90 grams of fresh milk. You must be wondering why yogurt. The yogurt adds a touch of tanginess and moisture to our bread roll. Set it aside. Next step, in the separate mixing bowl, now let's take on our sourdough discard. We are using around 300 grams sourdough discard. The secret to this deliciousness lies into the sourdough starter taste, giving in that signature tang and rise. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. I don't have a sourdough starter, and making one seems complicated. Well, fret no more. In my sourdough masterclass, I will guide you through the entire process step by step that I learned from one of the best bakers last time, and I'm excited to share their secrets with you. What you need to do now is head over to hankery.com/masterclass and sign up for my sourdough masterclass today. Now it's time to add in our yogurt and fresh milk into the sourdough discard in our mixing bowl. Mix in our 60 grams of custard white sugar. Crack 2 fresh eggs. The eggs that will provide the richness and structure to this bread. Mix in around 5 grams of pink Himalayan salt or any sea salt that you have in your kitchen. After combining all the wet ingredients, now let's take out our mixer. Put on the bread dough into the stand mixers, slot in our mixing bowl, and now it's time to add our dried ingredients into the mixing bowl. Gradually incorporate the bread flour, milk powder, and instant it into the wet mixture. The milk powder adds a slight sweetness to help to create a softer crumb. Use a spatula or your hands if you need some help to combine the ingredients into the mixing bowl. Start with a low speed. With a dough hook attachment, mix until a dough forms. This should take a few minutes. Gradually turn the mixer speed from low to medium and medium-high once all the dry ingredients are incorporated into the wet mixture. You may start to observe that it comes quite quickly all together. When you see it form the dough shape, we will start to incorporate 40 grams of softened unsalted butter into the dough. Add the butter to the dough and knead for 5 to 7 minutes until the dough is smooth and elastic. The reason why we only incorporate butter later at that stage is to allow the dough to develop gluten before the fats are added, leading to a better texture. Now the pro tips for you, how to tell when dough is almost ready. When kneading the dough with a stand mixer, an important indicator that the dough is almost ready is when it stops sticking to the side of the mixing bowl and starts to pull away cleanly from the bottom. This typically happens after several minutes of kneading and signifies that the dough has developed sufficient gluten. Now stop the mixer and test our window pan test. To perform the window pan test, take a small piece of dough and gently stretch it between your fingers. If it forms a thin, translucent film without tearing, your dough is ready for the first rise. This indicates that the gluten development is sufficient for a good bread structure. So remove the dough from the mixing bowl and try to roll into the ball shape into another greased mixing bowl. Cover it with a cling film or any damp cloth and let it rise in a warm place for about 1 to 2 hours or until it doubles in size. A warm environment helps to speed up the fermentation process, resulting in a faster rise. While the dough is rising, let's prepare the filling. It's a simple, rich milk powder filling that adds a creamy surprise inside the bread. First ingredient is 60 grams of softened butter, a pinch of salt. If you are using the salted butter, you might want to omit the salt. 30 grams of icing sugar. Mix them together. Add in 20 grams of beaten fresh egg. Salt to the whisk and cream it together. Lightly beaten them and slowly add on 1 teaspoon of corn flour and 100 grams of milk powder. Once all the ingredients come together, set the milk powder filling aside. Once the dough has doubled in size, around 1 to 2 hours, now punch it down to release the gas. My most favorite part to release my stress. Remove the dough from the mixing bowl to the clean workspace. Shape our bread dough into the big round ball. Use the workbench scraper to cut the dough into 14 portions. 2 portions reserved to make into the chocolate dough. The chocolate dough will be reserved for us to roll thinly and wrap around into the porcupine spike later. If you are new here, why not click on subscribe button into my channel so that you won't miss out any future recipe. You can also check out my tools links in the description box below or go over to hankery.com/affiliate store to check out the list of the tools for sourdough, baking, and cooking. Alright, let's go back to our dough. Take the portions that we reserved to make the chocolate dough, 60 grams of milk chocolate melted, and include 30 grams of cocoa powder. Incorporate them and knead them until chocolate dough. Divide them equally to 12 portions. Let's shape our porcupine bread. Take 1 portion each. Flatten the plain dough into an oval rubby ball shape, which will form the base of our porcupine. Add in 1 portion of milk powder filling that we prepared before to the center of the plain dough, and wrap the dough around the filling, sealing the edges so none of the filling leaks out while baking. The seam side down and roll them into rubby ball shape. Next, roll out the chocolate dough thinly. You want it to be just big enough to cover 3/4 of the bread. I like the uneven color of the chocolate dough to mimic the real spike of the porcupine. Once is rolled thinly, wrap around the chocolate dough 3/4 of the plain dough, leaving the front uncovered, which mimic the porcupine's mouth. This will make it look like our little porcupine has a face. Now for the spikes, take a pair of kitchen scissors and start cutting small triangles into the chocolate dough, mimicking porcupine spikes. Repeat the same step for the rest of the 11th porcupine bread. Let me repeat again. This bread, I put a little bit more of cocoa powder to be more prominent of the brown spikes. When cutting the spike, make sure to angle the cuts outward for the best effect. Look at them, so adorable. This is another angle that how I create the spikes by scissors when I putting on the baking tray. Another pro tip is your triangle should be alternate in the spaces. Once completed all the spikes, now place our porcupine bread into a baking tray and let it proof for another 30 to 45 minutes for second proof. Preheat our oven to 350 Fahrenheit or 175 Celsius. Before baking, we're going to give our bread rolls a beautiful golden sheen by applying a milk wash. That's a pro tip. Using a pastry brush, gently brush the entire surface of the raisin rolls with a little milk. Stun the milk brush. Now bake our porcupine bread for 25 to 30 minutes at 175 Celsius or the crust is golden and the bread is fully baked. Once the porcupine bread baked and cooled down, now melted some milk chocolate to decorate the eyes, nose, and also its rosy cheek. Look at this adorable porcupine bread. How cute are they? Use edible powder to mimic the rosy cheek of all this adorable porcupine bread. A little touch but makes so much difference. This porcupine bread is always a hit at home. My son absolutely loves it. He can't get enough of the spikes and the soft, delicious milk powder filling inside. It's been such a joy to create something he loves visually and enjoys eating as a fussy eater. And now you can make this at home too. It's perfect for fun snack, breakfast, or to impress at family gatherings. Let's cut into this porcupine bread. Reveals a beautifully soft and airy crumb inside. As you slice through the chocolate spike exterior, the contrast between the rich cocoa color crust and the pale fluffy bread is striking. The center of the bread is filled with smooth and creamy milk powder filling, which has a rich, slightly sweet flavor that balances the subtle tang from the sourdough. Each bite combines the tender bread, decadent chocolate crust, and the melt in your mouth milk powder filling, making it an absolute delight both in texture and taste.
How's it taste?
Let's recap my recipe, or you can head over to hankery.com for print out recipe. Don't forget to check out the next bread recipe in description box below or the next video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe my channel for more delicious recipes. Hit that notification bell so you'll never miss an update. See you in my hankery.com sourdough masterclass.